Welcome to another episode of Beyond the Sidelines. In today's episode, we'll be speaking about the most important game of this year's European football campaign. Yes, the match that's going to be played later tonight, the match between Chelsea and Manchester City. Both these teams have had a stellar campaign all the way to the Champions League final. City defeating Paris Saint-Germain and Chelsea defeating Real Madrid. No one expected Chelsea to bounce off somebody like Real Madrid. What a game that, and very, very well played by Thomas Tuchel's men to overcome the Spanish footballing giants. So this is going to be another cracker of a competition, and in today's episode we'll be speaking about both teams, our predictions, the predicted match lineups, and many much things more. Manchester City. There's nothing much to speak about them. What a campaign they've had. They won the Premier League, they won the Carabao Cup. This would be their third title of the season, and to win three major trophies in a year is nothing short of remarkable. Manchester City have been a stellar force under Pep Guardiola. You name any player in the team and everyone has stepped up. May it be Gundogan, may it be Cancelo, may it be Ruben Dias, maybe it be Phil Foden, Raheem Sterling, Kevin De Bruyne, and each and every player, right from Riyad Mahrez to Edison Moyes, every player has stepped up. They're coming into this game on a back of a resounding 5-0 victory against Everton. They have won 7 out of their last 10 matches in all competitions. They are a side to reckon with, hadn't they? I mean, 5 goals against Everton. If you had seen those, if our viewers had seen that game, I think City were unstoppable. And I mean, with Cancelo fit again, Guardiola having a side that he can choose from, the whole side is fit nearly. I think City are having all the aces in this final. Though this is their first final, I'm sure Guardiola would want to win this badly. He's won twice with Barcelona, but never has won with any side after Barcelona. For him, this would be a major achievement, a major landmark for the amount of investment City Football Group has done in Manchester City. I'm sure that this is a silverware that they wanted to win very badly. Premier League is something they have won in the last decade quite often. Obviously, they won the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup as well. But that final jigsaw puzzle piece is this Champions League. So Manchester City are coming into this game with complete confidence. Guardiola has been really, really confident in the press conference. Is at this awe of relaxation around him. It's Aguero's last season. You want to give him a parting gift. He's been a wonderful servant of the club, and I think Manchester City are a team that is going into this final with a greater advantage. But obviously, they're coming up against a team who are also been a force under Tuchel. They have had a great season in the second half of the season. So that is Manchester City for you. And now we head towards Chelsea. Blue is the color. Football is the game. We're all together. And Chelsea is a name. Chelsea been a side who've been wonderful this year in the second half. Nobody really credited them to reach the final. Under Lampard, unfortunately, they were all told to be a side that is just, improving, a team that we all thought, probably would finish somewhere fighting for the Champions League spots, or, probably lose out in the round of 16 or somewhere around there. But under Tuchel, they've completely revitalized themselves. Nobody really gave them a chance, but they overcame teams so wonderfully. What a game against Atletico Madrid, defensively so astute. Mendy has been a revelation at the goal. Thiago Silva has been really brilliant. Antonio Rudiger's comeback from the cold has been really wonderful. So all in all, Chelsea have looked a solid side defensively. Also offensively, Timo Werner is finally stepping up. He's giving those assists. Oliver Giroud has scored a lot of goals in the Champions League. Is still Chelsea's top scorer. They also have Tammy Abraham, whom they can rely on. So I think Chelsea are a side that have been quite underappreciated for what they have achieved in this final. Nobody really gave them a chance. कोई भी तरीके का कोई भी chance दिया नहीं गया था Chelsea को, and nobody really expected them to reach the finals. Win against Atletico, win against Porto, win against Real Madrid. They are a team that are coming into the final really confident. They know you bring on any team against them, they're going to come out all guns blazing. So Chelsea is a team, we can't underestimate them. They're a team that's really playing well. Unfortunately, they missed out on the FA Cup final. Yuri Tielemans' screamer that put Chelsea out of the FA Cup final. So, but Chelsea is a team that we're going to reckon with. We're going to see how they line up. I'm sure they would want to line up defensively. They've already won against City twice in the last 3 months. And that brings on to our next segment, the head-to-head between both the teams last game. the last meeting between both these teams, you know, it didn't make much of any impact on the season. Of course, Chelsea wanted to win it badly because that win would mean a lot to them in their Champions League campaign. Uh, it was a brilliant game. Of course, we saw the first goal scored by City, Raheem Sterling with a wonderful finish, and then Sergio Aguero attempting that Panenka over Edouard Mendy, and ended up being rather lame. But unfortunately, Aguero couldn't get City their second goal, and Chelsea capitalized on that. Hakim Ziyech with a goal, and then Marcos Alonso, of all the players, a defensive left wing back, coming up and getting that final vital 2-1 goal for Thomas Tuchel and his men. So Chelsea winning over City twice, once in the FA Cup semi-final, once in the Premier League, and all of this has happened in the last 3 months. So Chelsea are really, really confident against City. They know they have a certain strategy, certain tactic that they can utilize when they come up against the English champions. Of course, I'm sure that City would want to step the pedal up. They've unfortunately, rested a lot of key players. We saw that in the last game as well, where they didn't play Kevin De Bruyne, they didn't start Gundogan, they didn't start a few of their key players. So I'm sure that they will look to play their best side for the final, obviously because of the occasion that the final is. Riyad Mahrez, who is the top scorer for this season alongside Ferran Torres, would also be considered most probably for the finals, but I'm not sure whether they will start in the lineup or not. But for sure they have so much variety, so many options on the bench that they're going to be quite an handful for Chelsea. Would they win against City the third time in a row? Is going to be difficult. That takes us to our predicted lineup for today's game. And now we move on to our predicted lineups. Chelsea. Well, I'm sure that Mendy would start for this final. He's been a key goalkeeper for Chelsea. I'm sure Kepa, unfortunately, couldn't see Chelsea through in the final against Leicester, but I'm sure Mendy has done enough. Though Mendy had a small niggle against Aston Villa. But as far as what we hear from the sources, that Mendy would get fit for the final and he should start over Kepa for the final game against City. So Mendy on goal. Christensen, Thiago Silva, Rudiger and Azpilicueta would be the back line for Chelsea. I think Christensen would be a start that I feel that they would probably give him, considering the fact that, kind of a back three that Chelsea deploy. Christensen, Rudiger, Thiago Silva, all three of them have been very, very solid. Thiago Silva especially, nobody really expected Thiago Silva at his age to step up. And this is going to be a kind of, a great silver lining in his career towards the end of his career. Another big triumph if he could, pull this off for Chelsea playing centre back. So Thiago's experience alongside Rudiger, Christensen's, he's been also a player that has been emerging out of the blue for Chelsea over the last few years now. Alongside Chilwell and Azpilicueta, the fullbacks. Azpilicueta, of course, been a long-term servant of Chelsea, been so many years with the club now. Jorginho, Kante in the midfield. I was expecting Kovacic to start, but that's going to be again between Kovacic and Jorginho. So I would say probably Jorginho because of the qualities he possesses, and the fact also we've seen that Tuchel's been quite comfortable with Jorginho in the midfield. Also, if you see that Jorginho was the top scorer for Chelsea in this year's Premier League, so unbelievable statistic. Nobody really expected Jorginho, of all the players, to be the top scorer for Chelsea in this year's Premier League. So again, Jorginho, Kante, Pulisic, Werner and Mount. Of course, these are the top three players up front. So again, Werner, lot of the things would rely on this German finisher who's come from Leipzig. He's not really set the house on fire at Chelsea, but he is coming good in the last few games. We've seen the qualities he possesses, the runs he makes. He does have the ability to kind of tee off the defender, get into good spaces. All that he needs to do now is to get the ball in the back of the net for Chelsea to win this game. So at the end of the day, this is my lineup for Chelsea, and I think Ziyech or Giroud would probably be coming into the game at some point as well. Well, talking about Manchester City now. Ederson Moraes on goal. He's had a wonderful penalty save against Everton. We saw a beautiful save there of Sigurdsson. Walker, Stones, Ruben Dias and Zinchenko. Again, this is a very, very solid back line. They know their job. They know what to do. And I'm sure that, they would want to pull this off without much of a hassle. The back line is solid for City. So is the midfield. Bernardo Silva, Fernandinho, Gundogan, and they've got Mahrez, De Bruyne, and Foden up top. So this is a very, very solid lineup. It's got a mixture of youth, experience. It's got a mixture of players who have done this time and time again. They have stepped up in different occasions. So again, this is a lineup that knows how Guardiola wants to play. They have played under his system. So again, they're very, very comfortable. We know how Kevin De Bruyne has played, how Phil Foden has stepped up. This is an amazing City side, and Chelsea have to really play out of their skins to defeat this side here. So this is my lineup for Manchester City. My key player for Manchester City for this game is Bernardo Silva. I think he has quite a big role in many of City's victories. I think he will step up the guns in the finals if City do win this final. For me, Bernardo Silva will hold a big role for City. Kind of the person who kind of stops the attacks and starts the attack. So he's kind of the link-up player for City. And I think Bernardo Silva and obviously Kevin De Bruyne, Mahrez, Foden are extremely key players. So it's very difficult to choose a key player, but I choose Bernardo Silva. My key player for Chelsea is Christian Pulisic, the American footballer in the club. He came from Dortmund and he's really set. He did really set the house on fire last year. Unfortunately, this year the season has been quite up and down for Christian Pulisic, but he's been quite good in the last few games. We saw he did really well to set up a goal in the second leg of the semi-final against Real Madrid, where at the end Mason Mount finished it. So of course Mason Mount also another key player, but for me, I think if you ask me to choose one key player for the game, I would choose Christian Pulisic over Kante and Mason Mount, because I think Christian Pulisic has the ability, that one key movement, dribbles in, cuts inside, and always has this chance to blast it out in the back of the net. So Christian Pulisic for me is the key player for Chelsea. Predictions, I think it would be a closely contested affair, and I think City would end up triumphs 2-1 in the favor of City. I second maybe a Raheem Sterling or a Mahrez to get one of those goals, and also probably would see Phil Foden getting another goal maybe. So 2-1 in the favor of City. For Chelsea, I think Mason Mount or Pulisic or maybe even Werner could be the goal scorer. So that's 2-1 for Manchester City. Thank you once again for joining for another episode of BTS. I hope you liked the video. Do like, share, and subscribe.